Hello, Twitch world. We're out here streaming live, talking about SEO, talking about web auditing. That's what we're doing today. So today, we're going to be spending some time looking at some free tools that we could do a self-audit on our website. Now, you may be wondering, what is a self-audit? Well, that is when we actually go in there and not analyze ourselves. It's self-audit is on our website I'm talking about. So what we're going to be actually doing is checking for broken links, look for faulty text, things that actually occur when we're actually producing the website. Now these things actually pile up, and as they pile up, these little layers start to trigger problems when we start doing our SEO ranking. So, with that being said, my name is Dale Obrochta. I've been working in the SEO market for a couple decades now. I'm a professional entertainer, have a website that's over 30 years old. So I have been working in the trenches, working with this stuff. And as my website grew to this huge site, I had to find tips and tricks and constantly improving it. So today what we're going to do is take one of my websites that I have. We're going to analyze it, look at it, tear it apart, put it back together, and all that fun stuff. And you're going to see what I do to get my sites ranked higher. And this is the process that we're going to start. So, as always, we're in the world of Twitch. If you got a comment, feel free to drop it out there. I have my my Twitch window open. So if you want to leave a chat, you can leave me a message. I always make sure you say hi. Hi, what's happening? Just give me that message to let you know that, you're there. We could have a chat. This is a way we could actually stay informed with each other as I bounce between my streams here in my lovely office coming to you. So, let's start with the basics of SEO. As you know, search engine optimization is the process of building a website to a search engine's specification. And basically the specification we build almost 99% of all websites to is Google. Google is probably, or not probably, but is the largest search engine site out there. Now with that being said, what we're doing is trying to make our website Google friendly. That's really what we're doing when we're doing search engine optimization. Now, Google kicks us in the teeth every couple of years and says, hey, we're changing the algorithm. And when they change the algorithm, things occur. Now, in the beginning, when you first get your website and you develop your website, it's perfect. It's fast. It's slick. It moves. But as time goes on, the coding process changes. The HTML changes. The CSS changes. And things are improved as we get new technology. A perfect example are cell phones. Cell phones, as you know, weren't around, 5-7 years ago. The popularity, they were around, but we weren't interacting with them as we do now, basically searching, sorting. I mean, that's the highest thing everybody's trying to do is make their website mobile friendly. And granted, you could go out and get all these plugins for WordPress and click on it and bam, it's now so-called WordPress friendly. But the guy coding that WordPress app, if they're not a decent coder, if they're not qualified to really code, but they create this really cool program that structurally is not correct and it bogs down and slows down your website, you're going to find that Google will penalize you and your search engine rankings will actually drop. So you have to start looking at how can you fine-tune your website. Now we're going to talk about the first tool, and this is for those people who have a website that is large. If you have a large website or a website that's old, let's say if you've done 2 or 3 conversions, you've gone from a HTML to a WordPress site, and then you've switched over to a different hosting provider, and then you switch back, and you may have all these little codes out there that are what's called broken links. These are things that are linking to old pages that don't exist or, in fact, have just faded away. And when I say faded away, maybe a product or service that you no longer offer, and it's just basically a dead link. And we're going to start off with this first broken link checker. And today what we're going to be doing is using our website. The website I'm going to be using here is my understandingyourimage.com, which right here's the website. Let's go out to it. This is my website. This is my professional speaking website that I deal with when I do corporate training. And I talk about, what do I talk about? Let me think about that. I talk about image. That's what I talk about here, and how your image reflects in the public. So this is a website that I've built a long time ago. It's probably about 4.5 years, 5 years ago that I've built it. I haven't done much with it when it comes to the world of SEO. I built it, I put it out there, I promote it, and that's about it. I just kind of let that website sit out there, and the only time it really gets people coming to it is when I send traffic to it. This year I'm going to work on my SEO skills, and I'm going to work on making this a stronger, more powerful website. So to do that, what I'm going to do is prevent from sneezing. Oh, hang on. Woo! Where's my sneeze button when I need it? Man. All right. So if you can see here, this is my website, Understanding Your Image. And I got another sneeze coming on here. What is up with that? There we go. Let's work it out. Yeah, there we go. All gone. All right, so this site here, I basically just let sit. So today what we're going to do is I want to verify if there's any broken links. These are links that are two pages that are not two pages, but are pages that I may have changed, deleted, modified, and the URL has basically changed. So that's hence we call it a broken link. There is a site, and there's numerous sites that you could go to, but this is deadlinkchecker.com is one of the ones that I use. And you simply put in, let me go back here real quick. Here's the actual URL. I could say the whole website. We're going to try the whole website. I just did the initial page here. We're going to see what it actually finds. And I'm doing this live with you folks, so anything could happen. So I put in the website URL. It wants a spam checker. I hate these things, but you know, it's it. We need to do it today. So what it's going to do is going to go out there and start analyzing all the web pages. It's going to go through, and it may find a whole mess of links. It's going to find maybe fonts that it can't find. It's just going to go through here. And as we could tell, it's got 229. It's still going. It's 246 URL links, 7 failed. So I got 7 bad links in here, according to this program. Now, I'm going to find out if these are bad links, if they are fonts. It seems like one of them is a font that's coming up. A YouTube link that's saying it can't find this link anymore. Understanding Your Image link, a server error, linking to another website that I have. So it's going to go through this process. It's not going to take long. But again, if you have a huge website, don't be surprised if it doesn't take a couple minutes. I actually have a larger website, my MBD2 website, that when I kick on it, it's like, man, I could be out there, have a cup of coffee, go back, come almost an hour later, and it's finally searched, done doing its process. It's what happens when you have a huge website, and that's what I actually have. And we're almost finished. It's got 600, all the URL links it's going through. 58% done, and it's going to bounce around here. And as you can see, it's doing nothing more than checking every link and verifying. Now, I know I've been going to let this run here for a second. Been having issues with a large hosting company. They've been moving some of my stuff around. I just went to one of the sites today, found out that it's broken a data connection again. I have to contact them. So some of these I may be coming up that are faulty errors. Actually, I see a couple of them on here that I have done some housekeeping on my large website. my MBD2 website, and these errors right here, this information is gone. I have deleted out those websites. They're gone. C'est la vie. Goodbye. And I have some links out there that I didn't realize that were linked to this website. So I cleaned up one website just to find out it caused a nightmare on another website. So that's why I'm out on this website looking through this, because I'd never know these links are broken. Now, the more links that I have broken to a website, Google looks at that and says that your site is not being maintained properly. And if your site's not being maintained properly, they start drop you in the SEO ranking. So this is why we do a self-audit every now and then. And I mean, how often? Try doing it depending on how big your site is and how technical your site is. You should probably self-audit every 6 months just to see how things are going. If you are part of a large IT team, you've got a lot of tech people, if you got people who are constantly working on your website, you may do this on a more frequent basis just to make sure that, you know, what somebody else is doing on one side doesn't affect something on another side. Sometimes they're just, I've found typos that I've actually transposed a URL on my own website. I'm looking at it going, wait, oh, transposed 2 letters in the URL. So this is a great way of doing it. It's, you know, this process is still going through, and this is not a huge website here, folks. It's just going through checking all the links. So let's go back to that screen here. And I'm going to pause this at the moment, and we're going to zoom in here if I can. All right, as you can tell right here, it's actually going through, it's having a problem finding this server here, 500 initial server. Doesn't mean that this link is bad. It could be the server is a slow response and it's not responding fast enough that if I click on this link, let's see actually what happens to it. Open up a new tab. See, this is a problem I'm getting with this host provider. I have to figure out what is going on here. They're driving me crazy. It could be the URL. See, this is the second site I'm running into problems with. It's hosted by this host provider. So I have to go in here and find out what is actually going on with this error that it's timing out. But I would never known that this is occurring unless I run a report like this. And that's why we do self-audits. Errors LinkedIn. This one actually has to get cleaned up. Instagram works, but they have a problem. Instagram has a slow connect time. I've tried this one. It works. These are actually dead links. I need to find them now in my document and remove them. They actually say over here, you know, which website they were actually coming from. Again, that's also here. Again, a lot of these are things that are not being found quickly. So this is how you do a self-audit. That's one process right there, is going back and just doing nothing more than this Deadlink Checker. So right there, use the Deadlink Checker, pull out all the bad links, clean up your website, goes on. So now after you've done this, this is what I'm going to be doing probably the rest of the evening, is going through this and cleaning up my dead links, making sure that those old links aren't there. Now, what I want to do is take you to another site here. This is SEO Ability. SEO Ability is another site that's free that they allow you to go in and check the details, your page setup, your scenario of all your H1 tags. Do you have missing or bad text? This actually goes into the coding aspect. That when you're actually building your website, these are things that you may do accidentally, or you think it's a quick fix and you just do something and you send it up. and you realize that, wait a minute, this is not really clean web development. And again, that goes with your SEO ranking. So using SEO Ability is fairly easy. We're going to use the same website that I was using before, Understanding Your Image. You just go out to this SEObility.net/en for English /SEO check /. Let me pull that up on the screen here. It's right up here. There it is. SEObility.net/English en /SEO check /. You come down here, you put your website in, and we're going to tell it to analyze. And what this is going to do is tell me how friendly my site is to SEO. Now, this is a paid service. You could use, this is the free version, but we also have a paid version. So if you want to go in and actually subscribe to this and look at their listing plan here, go right ahead. It's, be honest with you, you know, you got 30-day, or you're an agency, that's $200. This is for beginners. This is where we're all at. So that's going to give you, now see, for my larger site, I need to do something like this. But most people are going to be in this category with no problem. So let me go back to that page that I was just at. This page has to rebuild. There we go. All right, now we're looking at the analytics. We're going to be going through the same website that we're just looking at, that broken links. Now, first things first, let me zoom in here a little. Come on, there we go. Meta information. Meta tag information is the information that we used to use with almost all SEOs. This actually tells the page what language, what HTML format that we're using, what were the keywords, who's the author, what's the basic description of the page, and it could go on to about 6, 7, 8 things that we put in there. And that is the information that the website, when it first hits, it grabs all that information. That's basically trying to give a quick synopsis of what the page is all about. And in the beginning days, early days, that was A1 critical, because that was the first thing almost every search engine was looking at, was the meta tags and keywords. And the meta tags were the description of the page, keywords were what the page was about. And then there was author, English, and everything else. Now, in here, if I click on the meta tags, this will actually take me down here. It's saying it's got 70%, 76%. And if you look here, they actually have classifications. There's 3 dots, which mean that's most important, down to 1 dot. 1 dot means that, yeah, it's important, but not life-threatening. So you really want to look at the 3 dots, and if you can, fix the 3 dots before you can do anything else. Now, there's in here, the title tells me how big titles should actually be. There's no duplicates. Again, meta tag, there's a meta tag actually missing, so I have to go in and check. Now, this is a WordPress site, so I have to do a background check to make sure my meta tag descriptions are put in possibly for that page. Because in WordPress, we have to put in meta tags for each and every page. That's usually done through a social plugin that when we stream it or we share it, those are the tags that they basically use. Crawlability, this is for the search engines to know how fast it is to crawl. It's there set up. This tells me this is the main information for this website, that there's no duplicate data. This is where all the original data comes from. Language, it's set to English. There we go. United States English, there's actually EN, which is English for England, and then EN-US, which is English for US, because we have a slight slang here. Looking down here, we have, again, minor links, and you could go through, and here's a domain name is too long. It doesn't like my name, but that's the domain name I'm using. It's a critical error. It's a minor error. It's not critical. It's just saying, hey, this is a warning. Maybe you should have picked a shorter URL name. Doesn't mean anything SEO-wise. Page URL, character coding, tells you what kind of coding it's used. Document type, it's HTML5. Does it have a fave icon? That's a little icon up here. Yes, it does. All right. That's actually over here, right on this page. So that was my page meta, my meta tags. Now, if I get down here to page content, this is where it starts looking at the content. It looks for duplication. I have a duplicate. Everyone has thoroughly entertained. I must have 2 comments in there. Again, it shows me the number of words being used. It tells me a breakdown here. It tells me if it's in a frame or not. And that's, again, frames were great at one time, but when we went mobile, frames are not as friendly. Mobile optimization, it is optimized for mobile, but it's not optimized for the perfect Apple format, which again, if all your leads are coming from Apple products, then you got to make sure you're more Apple compliant than Android compliant. Again, is this something major I would look at? Probably not. I would probably let this go over. Maybe if I want to get critical, I can. Next thing is here, bold and strong tags. These are the tags that I have in here. These are words that I've bold-faced or highlighted. They're saying maybe doing too much bold-facing. Images are SEO. Right in here for images have no attributes. I have to check on that. Social networks. It just means that I don't have people linking back to this page. I don't have people raving about this page, to the fact that I really market this directly to people. I'm not always looking for people to find me on the internet. This is more of a website that I contact people, I market directly to them, and I know who I'm sending to what page. So from that point, the images and things like that don't have to be 100% SEO compliant. That's why they're also down here saying that it's minor. It's of simple importance. Now, if I go back to the top again, it goes through and, again, page structure, how it is, link structure, server, external factors. Now, here's a list of things that they tell me I should be looking at. These are the critical things. Add H1 meta tag, or excuse me, a meta tag. I have an H1 heading to correct. Improvement, page response. This is my server time. There's only so much I could actually do there. When I get into server performance time, I talked about doing a page speed test in a previous talk that we had. And I talked about where we actually needed to look at page speed. That's where we actually had to put caches on our website. We had to minimize our JavaScript, actually remove unused CSS statements, and that's a whole different process than what we're doing here. If you do that, yes, these things actually pop out. See, this is right here, reduce the number of CSS files. CSS files are our image files. These are our font files, the things that we call in. This format right here, this website right here, I know has a lot of CSS style formats. Everything you see here is a style format. So for me to eliminate that, I could do one simple thing. I could change my WordPress template. By me changing my WordPress template and getting to a friendlier SEO WordPress template, I can improve on this. Now, again, this is where changing your WordPress format periodically benefits you in the long run, but also hurts you if you've actually done a lot of customizing and created a brand. What you created a couple years ago may not be truly SEO compliant and the fastest, coolest, neatest, all the things that it needs for, again, mobile. So with that being said, you have to reevaluate your template every couple of years to see, is there a newer, improved template that I could change my format to that works and gives me a better response? But again, that is something that you have to weigh in and look at, because right here, looking at this, again, may not be as critical to your response time unless you do your speed page test and realize that, geez, I am so far behind. And like I said, what is Google looking for? It's looking for less than a 5-second page load. It wants a boom, load it up. Even though we're going to, this is what drives me crazy. We're now going into, was it 5? We're going into G5. We're faster, downloader, quick, everything. But now Google wants us to load stuff even faster. So from our end, we could have larger video, but our files that we send still have to be extremely small. Even though we're getting faster ways of information, we're sending gigabytes of information, but they want our website at 50K or less, which is mind-blowing because, again, you know, we're giving this huge bandwidth of send information, but the files that we have to send are extremely small. And that's all because of these devices right here. Our desktop units handle the information properly. It's all these laptops and tablets that we actually have to force in because they really don't have the processor like we do in our computer. If it had the same processor in our computer, I mean, we wouldn't be screwing around with trying to compress all this data. That's the big reason that we're here, is we're trying to figure out how to compress this data down to ship it faster. And that's where we get back into this format right here of looking at our time response. And this is, again, when I reduce the CSS, I haven't done any search engine optimization on this site. So when I actually compress the CSS, this error will go away. Same with the JavaScripts. But again, it all goes back to this template that I'm using. Let's see what else is out here. Whoop, I got to go on this side. Got 2 screens here, folks. So if you see me bouncing my head, I got my left screen. That's my active one. And then I get my viewing one over here. H1 header should be better. Okay, it's just saying that should. Now, these are all recommendations. These are all things I could do. As you can tell, red are critical. Yellow is minor. Blue, again, promote yourself more on social networks. It's just trying to find people linking on social networks back to your site. And again, this is a great tool here by SEO Ability. Remember, it's SEO Ability /en/checker, SEO Checker. That's where you're going to go. This is the way you can do a self-audit on your website. As I said, you're going to want to do this on a regular basis, at least twice a year. When I say regular, I'm talking twice a year. If you probably only have small improvements. If you don't update your website but once every year or 2 years, you're going to find that you don't need to do this. But if you're constantly putting blogs out there, or if you're putting information out there, a good web developer, a good web manager will do these audits periodically to make sure the website is running efficiently. After all, that's their job. And that's part of SEO, is to ensure that the website is running at its fastest speed. Think of SEO as the mechanic for a race car. His job is to keep that car at its highest performance. So when that driver comes in and drives it like boom, like a bat out of hell, that's what's got to happen. So that's what happens with SEO. But the problem is, with a mechanic, usually there's, 1 or 2 guys working on the vehicles. They know exactly what's happening. With websites, you could have 5, 6, 7 people working on your website. You could be in a hurry and upload graphics. You could be uploading a security patch, and that security patch is poorly written. It takes time to load. So there's all these little issues that you actually have to debug and solve. Whew. A lot of SEO stuff here about self-auditing. I'm probably going to do another show on this because there's a lot involved. I just want to let you know, my name is Dale Obrochta, chatting with you about SEO and marketing. Hey, next time you want to be here, stop out and we could chat live. That's the great part about being on Twitch. I have a live audience. This is also being recorded, and I'm going to upload this to my YouTube channel. So if you did see this on my YouTube channel, give me some likes, give me some loves, make sure you subscribe. If you're on my Twitch channel, hey, more power to you. Thank you for being here. Next time, pop in, give me a chat. My name is Dale Obrochta for this channel talking about SEO and marketing. You guys have a great day. Be safe, be healthy, be wise. I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Make sure you click on that subscribe button and never miss a video. Subscribe now Click the little bell and always be notified of a live broadcast. Follow me on Instagram, and if you're a TikTok fan, you'll find me under the same name, Dale Obrochta. Looking forward to seeing you on social media.